Happy Saturday, November 1st. It is that time when I get to show you the 7 Eriy spreads I did in my 7 Eriy books for my book completion project. This is month 3, I think. Is it 3 or 4? Oh, shoot, I've lost track. I think it's 3. I guess I'll know because I'll see how many spreads I did in each book. Because I hadn't done any in any of them. I'm doing 1 spread per month in each book until it's complete. It's going to take me just over 3 years to do it. Hopefully I can keep up. I did cut a few corners. I do notice when I use water-based mediums, it goes a lot faster. I wanted to color some other Halloween and fall pictures. So like I wanted to finish at least a week before the month ended so I had time for some other pictures, which I did. But that does mean I can't put quite as much detail into some of them, which I'll explain as I show you. I will have another video maybe tomorrow of what else I colored. Not just in October. I actually haven't done a what I colored video since like June. Because 1, I've been working on these, and 2, I just only did a couple extra per month, and so I didn't have enough accumulated, but I do have quite a few other like fall and autumn and Halloween, and a couple of like summer stuff that I haven't shown yet, which I will do a what I colored the last few months video. I'll do separate than this. And if you want to see my other 2 romantic, 2 or 3, I think it's 3. Anyway, if you want to see the other what I did so far in these romantic country books, I'll link each video below, as I'll continue to do as I do the series. So I will show you what I've done. I have what I have marked in here, what I'm going to do next for next month, the page I marked, and talk about the mediums I use. So this is the literature Eriy book. So I can double check. How many do I have done in here? One. Yeah, this is the third video. Okay, so I did I guess the tortoise and the hare and whatever this is in the world literature, the 2 little mice. Does anybody know what this is from? It's like on the top, Stuart Little or something? I have no idea. Or is it all the same? I don't think it's all the same. Is it all also part of... I'm thinking Tortoise and the Hare, which is a story, but I'm thinking maybe Wind in the Willows. I'm going to have to look it up. I bet you that Eriy has a list of what books are for each one. So what I did here, so this side, I did watercolor pencils. So what I'm also doing is each month I'm using a different pencil set primarily. This month and all the spreads was my Brute Fruner 500 set. And I wanted to see how well each set of pencils works in each book, because believe it or not, a lot of the Eriy books, the papers are different, and it is beyond obvious and irritating. Last month I was doing all Black Widows, Prismacolor before that. So this was Brute Fruner month, and that includes my 500 pencil plus my Brute Fruner watercolor pencils, which I've never used and worked really great. You can see I did here some purples and blues. I did it on the tabletop or grass or whatever this is. I did it on the stoneware. I did a cream and a white. And then I also did it on all the fruit except the onion, the watercolor. And then I went over with the Brute Fruner pencils, so that's just so I can whip out like the base color a lot faster. Otherwise, it does take quite a while. So they worked like a charm in this particular book. Really loved them. On this side, I did, and I tried to throw in some fall colors, and that's why I chose the fruit. I'm trying to stick with fall or Halloween this month. The fruit, hot harvest kind of concept. I tried to throw in some autumn colors here. Watercolor pencils on the hill. The grass. The sky was the actual dry 500 pencils, which worked fantastic, like butter. They worked like, they're like they're not hard like a polychromos. They're kind of waxy like a Prismacolor as far as how they blend, but they feel harder. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it worked like a charm. Same on my little bunny. I did come in with some Pitt Artist Pen to do these little flowers, just to whip those out real quick. I didn't want to take forever to do flowers with a pencil. And honestly, I just used my Ohuhu Maui water brush pens, which are kind of like a Tombow dual brush pen on all these yellow leaves. And I just to get, I didn't even put pencil on. I just wanted to get them done, because these spreads take a long time. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it. Last month is the month, you'll see. Well, you're going to have to go watch my other videos to see what but last month I started one, Heidi. I'll give you a little hint. So check out if you want to see in my other videos what I did in the previous month. So what I'm going to do this month now that we're in November, I'm going to do this spread because I usually decorate for Christmas the day after Thanksgiving, or I start. It takes me like 4 days. So I can at least usually whip out one Christmas picture at the end of November. So I picked this one from the Christmas Carol. I'm really excited because I'm going to have limited time to do Christmas pictures if I'm only doing Eriy, books in December. And I'm going to do this one, this fun little, this is more like this makes me think of the Land of Sweets Nutcracker Castle. So this is going to take a long time. So I'm going to be working on that one. All right, let's go on to the next one. Next we have I guess this is the World Heritage book. And what did I do in here? Last month, you remember I did the Alice in Wonderland spread. I think this is the one I just whipped out the intro page. Is it? Yes. This one, all the pictures in this book were complicated, and I was running out of time because I wanted to do Halloween pictures, so I just whipped this out real quick. I just did gelatos, Faber-Castell gelatos with a brush, and a white and a tan for all this background. And then I used the Root Ferner watercolor pencils for this, for the suitcase, for all the suitcases, the shelf. I didn't actually put I did in 2 days. I didn't put much effort into this, to be honest. I did do a little watercolor. You can see these little backgrounds has the watercolor. Then I just did the Root Ferner pencils, real quick layer on everything else. And then this bright mint green, I did a hoo-hoo water brush pen, because you can't do alcohol marker because these pages bleed through. Yeah, I mean, this was an example of one of the pictures. I didn't even put in a palette thought, what colors I'm going to do. I just started grabbing colors because I just wanted to get a page done. I was into the third week of October, and this is the final page. So yeah, intro page is done. Nothing too exciting. I'm going to do this month. I think I'm going to do this one, which is really cute. There weren't a lot of options for fall-ish themed pictures in here. But I'm going to do this all fall theme because she's wearing a raincoat. I might make it rainy, all pretty fall trees, fall colors. This might be an autumn weather kind of, European scene, out painting your cat in Paris or whatever it is, where, I don't know if I can do that fall theme, maybe with some of the colors, but I'll try just to kind of make them coordinate. So that's what I'm going to do here. Oh, excuse me. All right, next I have the Eriy Romantic Country second tale. And in this book, yes, I did fall themed, which is here. Fall colors. This was a lot of wide open stuff, so it wasn't too hard. And I did this one with the stained glass. So let me kind of tell you what I did here. This one was weird because of the big chunky black lines. It doesn't match the style of illustration in any of the other pictures in this book. So I did do the Root Ferner watercolors in the middle, around the sides. I'm going to be honest and say the Root Ferner 500 pencil sucked in this book. Now this is one of the early old original versions of the Romantic Country second tale. I don't know if there have been additional printings. The paper was just real non-porous. I've had Prismacolors were the only thing that's really worked. The Black Widows were even kind of sketchy. So I did do Prismacolors on the bow, on the grapes, and I started doing these little flowers here, or the medium flowers with the Root Ferners, and I just couldn't blend. I was going and going, and it was not going. It was not happening. So I gave up and went to Prismas. Bird was all Prismacolors, and then I went over with Mod Podge, which is like a jar of glittery stuff, and you get a wide paintbrush, and I just went over in the middle, right? So it looks like it's stained glass. A little, I don't know if you can see the glitter in the camera. Maybe you can see if I turn it. You really see it in person. So I gave it that stained glass look, but I stuck with fall colors. And over here, this one was fun. This one was almost all entirely Root Ferner watercolor pencils. So the sky, the bushes, the water, the grass. I use artist pen for like the little leaves and flowers. And I did use Prismacolor red pencil too on the little bell tower. I did put the Mod Podge on the water. Can you see that? See how it's glittering? I wanted it to match the other side and also just to look more like a, you know, magical lake. Yeah, so I did do some fall colors here. I think it turned out well considering the rough start I got on it. I love my trees. So next month I'm going to do, this month actually, I'm going to do this one. This is more like Halloween-y I'm going to do. I want to do that this month, but I don't know why I didn't. This one I'm going to do all pinks and purples. I saw an example of one I really liked somewhere on Instagram. I'm going to see if I can replicate that. So that will be what I'm doing this month. Next I have the Fairy World Legends. I always call it the fairy book because there's like fairies on the front, but it's the World Legends book. This is the other one that had the crummy paper. Last month I did the Anne Boleyn looking one. Oh, yeah, I did Halloween spread in this one. All right, here we go. Halloween spread. All right. Woo, this is the first one I did this month in October. So here you can see I did a plain black acrylic marker for the sky. Super easy. The Brute Pruner 500 worked fine on this paper. Good. I did all this in the Brute Pruners. The Brute Pruner watercolors on the ground. But even her coat, look how well it blended with like a white. How I kind of blended on here. I did a yellow and orange in the windows, and then I put some of the glitter, my stickles. What I do, I take the yellow stickles, the squeeze, and I put it on my finger, and then I just go like dab, dab, dab around or in the window. You can control it pretty well on your finger, and I put more on. I dab it into the window where I want it to kind of make like a yellowy glow light. You can see I did it over here too. See this yellow? I did not do it here. I just used a basic sheer coat on it. But yeah, the Brute Pruner pencils worked really well. I did silver stickles. I would just do some like, I did my white gel pen for like my sky stars, you can see, little dots. And then I did like a squiggle squiggle for like, you know, kind of shooting stars, magical sky scenario. Over here, this one was a pill. I'm trying to remember why. I made the mistake of coloring all the little pictures, the vignettes first, and then I had to get in there and get the background all around it. So that was a real pain. The background was black and like black and light gray gelatos. I used a really small brush. I went over on a few things. Like you can kind of wipe it off if with your finger. Yeah, all of these were the Brute Pruner 500 pencils. You know, I did this. I don't like little vignettes, so I did it pretty quickly. You know, I didn't put any effort and thought. Like I did green ghosts. I didn't even think about it. I just grabbed green. I'm like, I didn't even pre-think my strategy. Like I grabbed, those pencils didn't look nearly as dark when I grabbed them. The barrels on the Brute Pruner 500s aren't the same colors they always look on a few of them. Most of them they are, surprisingly. But I always have a blank piece of paper. If I grab some colors I want, I'll scribble on there real quick, make sure it's going to work. I've learned. So it turned out weird brownish, which is not intended. And then I put the silver stickles on my finger, right? And then you just go around and you just kind of, you see all those silvery, you just go around and I just dab, 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 put more on, dab, dab, dab. And your finger kind of presses it and moves it around if you want it compressed instead of like thick squiggle, like, but when you squeeze it right out of the jar. So I think it turned out all right. You know. Not bad at all. Could have been worse for Halloween. It felt Halloweenish. I'm going to do next month this because it's still a little Halloweenish. I'm still in my Halloween phase. We've got the witch's house with the little skulls and the kind of makes me think of Wizard of Oz. And then over here, I don't know what I'll do over here. She's a fairy with flowers. Maybe I'll do Christmas colors or something. So that's what I'm going to do this month. Next, we've got the Eriy's Fairytales, one of my favorite books. I think this might be my absolute favorite book, just the artwork. I did the 3 little pigs with the color along on my channel in this one. You can see, check out on my channel. That was last month. Oh yeah, I did, so I did the Alice in Wonderland spread because I was thinking of like costumes, Halloween. And like my idea of like a fun Halloween party would be to dress up like any of the Alice in Wonderland characters or whatever and go to like a Mad Hatter party. That would be like a dress up party. I was thinking Halloween. So this side was, excuse me, I did half Brute Pruner and half Prismacolor in here. The Brute Pruner watercolors worked fantastic. Not so much the 500s again. Not as bad as in that other book. I did the watercolor pencils, just 3 pinks and a white on here, and then used the water brush and got that kind of wallpapery effect for like a pink sky. Excuse me, pink sky. And for the floor, I actually watercolored her hair, and that's it. I did use all Prismacolors on here because I'd already started doing the Brute Pruners on these little hanging things, and it was really hard to blend. These were all the Brute Pruners, but it took forever. It was not worth it, so I went to the Prismas on these. The Black Widows work amazing in this book. Brute Pruner 500s, not so much. So I did my table. I used artist pen for all the little details and stuff, and a little gem, a little sparkle here and there. I really messed up on my skin tone because I started doing the Brute Pruner skin tone from the 500 set on the skin, and it was like also hard and terrible. It wouldn't blend. I couldn't really fix it after, so I was like, that's what happens when you try brand new, different pencil sets in different books. You don't know what you're gonna get. But overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So this side, boy, this took forever. Okay, so this side, yeah, I did the watercolor gray and white for all the background, and the stage has like a couple purple and black watercolor pencils. You can see, and all you have to do with the watercolor pencil is color it like you're coloring regular. It's okay if you see a little white space, but I just color and I blend it as I would if it was a dry pencil, and then I dab the brush in so it doesn't fully move the color around. I did do entirely Prismacolors on the dresses. I used except where you see white, and I just left it white. Didn't want to waste my white ink. And then I used the Maui, Oahu Maui water brush pens for like all the hearts and stuff. This is Prismacolor, the little ribbons down here. Yeah, all these details took a long time. And, you know, I did the dresses before the background, and I wanted I didn't really know how my dresses were going to turn out. Once I saw the dresses, I was like, okay, let's find a background and a stage, you know, wrap that kind of matches it. And that's why I got in the gray and the purples and a little red. And I did put some sparkles, you can see. Some studs. Those are studs. And like sparklies up here. So I think for next month, I'm going to do, you probably saw that one I did before. I'm going to do this. Just because it's an easy one I can whip out, and I have a lot. I still want to do some fall pictures. The boots probably won't be a fall theme. This is the old man, the kids that lived in a shoe or something. I have no idea. So I will do this. It'll be pretty easy. Boring, but easy. You know, some of the pages in there are ones if I was not ever going to complete a book, I would probably never color. But you have to color if you're going to complete the book. Okay, let's look at the Romantic Country. The third tale. Really do like this book a whole lot. I did. This is probably my favorite. My Halloween spread. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. I'll talk about how I did this. Okay. So let me think. Brute Pruner 500s were okay. Not enough to make me abandon ship. Sky, still Brute Pruner watercolor pencils, worked like amazing, worked like a charm. I actually did, no, that was the other side. Yeah, so Brute Pruner watercolors for the trees, several browns for the grass, which I went over with pencil because I didn't like how it looked. All Brute Pruner pencils, 500 for the pumpkins, and I did stickles for the glow. I did yellow water brush pen for inside the pumpkin's faces for the glow, and then put the yellow stickles over it. I did some gel stuff for the candles. And I did black stickles, the diamond stickles, like for these little loops, but then I took a, what was it? Not a pencil. It was like a ballpoint. Yeah, it was like a black ballpoint pen to like scrape and bring down these like little webby looking things. You see how I have those coming down? Just a black pen. You could probably do like a fine liner or something. But you see the glow in my pumpkin's faces? I don't know if you can tell. Maybe I can't get this whole thing in the camera. Can you tell down here a little? You can see. Yeah, you can see like the textures there. So over here, I thought this was going to be so boring, but I love this picture. The sky. So for this one, I used Neocolor 2s for the sky. And it was a rust brown, a maroon red, a black, and a gray. Someone's at my door. Anyway, with the water brush. Also Neocolor 2s for this moon, darker yellow, lighter white in the middle. Then I went in with a little bit of and the crayon itself and just smudged them in with my finger and rubbed it in around the moon. Also used the Brute Ferner watercolor pencils for these buildings because they're pretty boring. Took the white Neocolor 2 with a little and a gray for the clouds. I just outlined it with gray and then did white and then used the water brush, and I made sure it went over a little, and then I did tap in a little bit of that white gel crayon around the sky. I really am happy how I see how I did my witch with green skin. That's kind of a first for me, like turquoise actually. But I love how I did my little lantern. Like, so there's like green smoke in it and coming out kind of. And then I put the stickles over it to make it look kind of like a light, like glittery. I like my duck too with the pencils. Yeah, I'm just happy with this Halloween spread. This one I spent the most time on. I think you can tell the difference. So next month I'm going to do one more autumny fall picture, which is this month. I keep forgetting it's November 1st. So I'm going to probably do this one first because we're still in autumn. Like the little witches or the wizards. I keep thinking of, I've been watching Gilmore Girls again. I keep thinking of Yale. You know, so this is like if you have like a wizard at Yale, like this is like the academic wizard looking out over the campus, you know, in the fall, and he's got all his wizardy pots and spells and potions and stuff he's doing. And I'm going to do this one for like a little witch's cottage. So I'll probably do that one first, starting today, in fact. One left. Romantic Country, the first. By the way, earlier I was talking about, yeah, Romantic Country 2 had the terrible paper for the Brute Ferners. I thought when I was talking about that was, I think I said that's the first book, but I meant the first printing of the second tale. Let me see, which one did I do here? Oh yes, this is a pure, this one was great. This is a pure fall picture. Pure fall, as I did this one early in October. Let me think what I did here. Okay, so I did gelatos for my background in pastels. There's like a peach, a green, a pink, and a yellow, centering the yellow around here. And I used the Brute Ferner watercolors on the trees, Pit Artist pens on the leaves. This was real quick. Watercolor pencils on the top, and even the base, and then just Pit Artist pens on the rest. The biggest, and the pencils on the lanterns. I meant to use a black gel pen. It turned out to be blue. I didn't realize, but I guess that works. I was doing it at night and I thought it was black, but it's blue. Oh well, that was an accident. But see how my background's got like the peach and the blue and the green. Just a nice, pretty kind of pastel sky with my well. And then I did my specimen box, fall foliage. You can tell I did watercolors on here. I wish I hadn't because I don't like how it looks. For a leaf, it should have been tighter and more smooth, like with the pencils. The Brute Ferners worked really good on here. You can see I did on the mushrooms on this leaf, the pine cones, also gelatos for this background as well. I didn't actually spend much time on this one, because I try to balance out easy ones with really complicated ones every month. So I'm not doing all hard or all easy ones, so that I don't get to the end of the books and have like all the hard ones left. So I want them to be balanced throughout the month. So I didn't actually pick one to do yet in here next month. I'm going to have to look. Oh, you're going to have to go see my other videos if you want to see all my other spreads. There was another Alice spread in here. Well, that's it. Everything I colored for October in the Eriy spreads. Please let me know which one you like. And if you've been actually watching this series, it would be good to know somebody actually is interested. And keep an eye out on around the 1st of every month for what I colored the previous month in my book completion project. Thanks, and keep an eye out too for my everything else I colored video coming up soon. Have a great weekend.